Hey, Matt here. Right, I'm making this video sort of like an insight into my life. All right, so people might know me from my taco project. They may know me from some of the hectic experiences that I've talked about. But my life, it isn't very hectic. It's like stale white bread. Okay. Um, the most interesting part of my day at the moment is when I sit down and have a couple of brewskis. Right. Sometimes I'm in a lovely field like this to do it in, right? And I'm pretty okay with it, right? This is the best honestly can say this is the best use of my time I can come up with. Um, th- I have been through hell. I live in poverty, and all of the social systems and structures which were meant to protect and help me did fuck all. And actually, all of the people in my family and my network, when tragedy struck, really just used it as an opportunity to destroy me out of just petty personal reasons. Um, After that kind of experience, you're not going to have the same view of people ever again. And I don't really want to ever integrate into society in the normal sense. Like if I'm able to get some sort of wealth from this experience, my plan for that is to be able to use that to sort of find a little bit of um, a refuge uh, from the abuse, to be able to buy my own gym equipment, have my own little place where I'm not constantly around people. Um, because yeah, no, you can't come back from that experience. Like I have, I'll go through some basics of it. Like the first time I really realized that there are no systems in place and you can just fall was when I broke my hand. Right, I broke my hand when I was coming to Canberra, and then I ended up working in insurance when my job was to kick people off insurance payments for precarious reasons, out of to serve the financial interests of insurance companies. Whilst I had a broken hand, that wouldn't be fixed by the healthcare system in Canberra because it's designed really with the older population in mind, and there's not an interest to have enough healthcare professionals in the past to be able to provide the necessary surgery. In addition, all healthcare professionals, they're governed by professional bodies who are interested in maintaining um, the status of their profession and the financial interests of their healthcare professionals. That's the reason why we never train enough surgeons, or doctors or anything. We need to always have the standard sufficiently high that we're never able to meet supply and demand. It's always ludicrously expensive to see a healthcare professional, and they're always able to say, well, it's because we're keeping the quality standards. It's like, no, that's not the reason why. It's ego and it's financial incentives. I'm sure part of it is like I probably safety. Like I'll actually take a step back on that. Part of it would be safety, but the casualties that we have in Australia and overseas because we can't get enough healthcare professionals, particularly how we end up stealing the doctors from other countries so they can't figure out their own healthcare economics, does not justify how we work that. But that's when I first really realized it. And I used to train. I used to be really into submission wrestling. So I was primarily an athlete, a very mediocre one. But there's this attitude amongst martial artists, and that's what I was. That's what my primary identity was. And I would be a martial artist who was also had an occupation. I'd be a martial artist, and I'd also be doing my university degree. It was a separations of identities. So I used to go training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and submission wrestling, and I'd have this broken hand, being in pain's nothing new to me. Like I've got snapped ligaments all over my body. My foot dangles by a tendon. Um, I'm missing a ligament here, or a tendon. Sorry. Everything's fucked. But like I did that, and it was a new gym, and people, when they don't have a lot going on, they start over identifying with things. And because I was did jujitsu for a while, I was just better than everyone, and they didn't think I would be, because I for a while was in a cast, and then the cast came off, and oh god, this petty drama, and it was a cult, and I was being controlled and dominated by people so that they could do with my life what they thought was best, what they wanted me to be and do. And my family, when I crashed, when I burned out from my work because I'd been involved and forced to be involved in a shit ton of white collar crime, which I eventually blew the whistle on. Um, when that all happened, my family, my sister, like she came here because I was having fugue states, because I'd been in fight or flight for so long. My nervous system was just shot. It's I don't know if it's shot now. I think at the moment I'm just experiencing the normal experiences you have when you've been repeatedly abused and traumatized. Um, yeah, she used that as an opportunity to like throw away some of my like things which she didn't think I deserved having, such as my guitar, such as my 21st birthday very fancy Japanese knife. She tried to make a case that I was insane, so I had to go to court and I proved my sanity. That was a that was a fucking thing to do. We come from a family where we all have to pretend and play this strange game where we pretend that our family patriarch isn't a complete fucking mess, and it's just built on this collaboration of lies. It's a very strange family culture, right? The kind of family culture which actually makes brilliant psychologists, because I've had to study humanity and how people can just put so much bullshit into their head, and the process of how that bullshit works to be able to break free of that kind of environment. And people say, like, when you get into at least your mid-20s, like your 30s, you have no excuse to blame your parents anymore. Well, I'm sorry, when I broke, the person I had to call was my sister. She came, she was tainted by our family's culture, and she enacted it, and she abused me terribly. And these things, they sound like bitches and moans, because they are, but because I'm a public figure and I'm always around, like, people expect me to be, and I've got all these crazy stories, they expect me to be exciting or something, but I'm not. Like, it's gonna be a long time before I have a life which is interesting. Poverty tends to eliminate the opportunities you have to engage in interesting activities. Right? And until then, this is it. And I'm really content with it. It's not the best PR for Taco. Like, I'd love help, to not in a psychological sense or social work sense, but I'd like help producing a more interesting image. Like, if we were a production company, this isn't probably what we would choose as how we present it, but that's what it is. And I just don't want anyone to have any misconceptions about me. This is where I'm at. This is who I am. This is what oppression looks like.